Hello guys, good morning. So I guess we can start already. Now, while waiting for them, we will already introduce to you our topic for this session. Okay. So I do hope you're very well today. Okay. So for today's session, we are going to cover the another theory. Kasi last meeting, as I remember, we discussed the concept of routine theory in relation to our explanation to the crime triangle, explaining how crime exists based on the uh, elements that we had mentioned, such as opportunity, instrumentality, motive, or intent. No? And we related that doon sa tinatawag nating routine theory wherein we illustrated the circumstances or a situation where crime could exist, no, given if all the situations that we made mention on the triangle would coexist, no. So to continue with that, we are already on module 3 of our subject, theories of crime and theories of crime causation, no. And then our topic now will focus on the conflict theory. Well, basically with regards to conflict theory, medyo this is on the part of the Marxists, no? If you have heard this conflict theory is somewhat anti-capitalism, no? It views the existence of criminality as caused by abuses of coming from the different class of the society. Now, so with that, let us first define what will be the coverage of this topic. We are going to talk about the definition of the conflict theory. We're also going to tackle the proponent of the conflict theory and the key part of the conflict theory. For the definition of the conflict theory, we define the conflict theory as that of a criminal theory that holds that crime, or that believes that crime results from the conflict in the society among the different social classes. No? Naniniwala ang mga proponents or mga believers of the conflict theory that the existence of criminality or result of the conflict between the social classes. No? They believe that the existence of law, no, the existence of the creation of law, are created for the sake of those who impose it, no, rather than it is considered as a general consensus. No, naniniwala sila na lahat ng patakaran, no, sa lahat ng aspeto ng ating society, whether that is education, with regards to health system, no, economy, and even the justice system that we have. Naniniwala sila na lahat ng mga ito ay ginawa, no, pabor sa mga miyembro ng pabor sa isang social class lamang, no? At ito yung tinatawag nating or the cause of the class conflict. Before we proceed any further, I would like to introduce first ano nga ba yung tinatawag nating social classes. What are they? No, sa ating discussion, we will just be covering at least maybe 3 of the social classes that we have, no, yung mga iba't ibang antas ng mamamayan sa lipunan, no. Alam naman natin 'yan, no, na meron tayong mahirap, merong mayaman, at meron yung tama lang o nasa gitna ng mahirap at mayaman o yung tinatawag nating middle class. However, sociologists believe that at least there are, or they agree that there are at least 5 social classes present in our society. No? Sabi nila that the social classes could be distinguished or divided into 5. No? Meron tayong tinatawag na upper class. Sila na yung mga class elite, kumbaga. No? Yung mga ubod ng yaman at may mga malaking impluensya sa ating komunidad. So they are considered as the upper class. And we also have the upper middle class, no? Mayayaman din 'yan, pero kumpara doon sa tinatawag nating upper class elite, no? mas malaki or mas mataas ang kanilang pinanghahawakan or mas mataas ang kanilang impluensya at kayang gawin doon sa ating lipunan. Now, when we're talking about influence, yan, papasok dyan, of course, yung economic influence, social influence, political influence, and so on. Yung isang tao ba na kaya niyang baguhin ang isang patakaran sa pamamagitan lamang ng pagbibigay ng utos. No? So, you can consider them as the upper class elite. Okay? Meron naman yung lower middle class, no? Mayayaman pa rin to. However, is sila kumbaga yung na medyo nakakaangat na or nagsisimula ng umangat sa buhay in terms of in terms of money, in terms of influence and so on. Kumbaga paakyat na sila doon sa ating lipunan, no? And then we also have here the working class, no? Karamihan ng mga adult, no? Yung mga nakapagtapos na ng pag-aaral at they already joined the workforce, kumbaga, no? So they are working in the service or in serving those business owners, no? Which are yung mga business owners na yan are already on the middle class, no? So yung mga workers nila, yung mga employees nila, siguro nandito yan sa working class. And of course, the poor, no? Ito na yung kumbaga is pinakamababa sa lipunan, yung mga mahihirap. So that's according to the sociologists. They had come up with they had come up into an agreement that the classes of the society can be divided into at least five. Okay? But for the interest of the social conflict, or yes, for the interest of the conflict theory that we will be covering today, we will be only using at least three of them, no? Yung upper class, which means ito na yung mga mayayaman, the middle class, ito na yung mga usually mga business owners and so on, that they are not that rich but they are not that poor also, and the lower class, which are the poor. Under the belief of the conflict theory, they believe that the fundamental cause of crime or the social and economic forces operating within the society. No? Ano-ano ba yung mga existing economic or social forces that are present in our society? No? Such as, for example, yung mga social institution natin. Our social institution, as believed under the conflict theory, is primarily benefiting, no? Giving much more opportunities or benefits for those members of the upper class, no? Mas napapaboran kumbaga ang mga mayayaman kumpara doon sa mahirap. Now, if we are going to look even for our criminal justice system, no, and the different laws that we have, they believe that the creation of such, no, the imposition of such, no, are usually focused on protecting the members of the upper class and controlling the behavior of the lower class. So that's what they believe. Nakikita niyo yung konsepto niya na kung saan is ang pinupunta nila dito is that ang pwedeng dahilan kung bakit meron tayong mga kriminalidad, no? It's because of this unfair distribution in terms of opportunity, in terms of the different benefits that they're receiving from a certain society or from a certain government, no? Which is we can say that it holds really rationality towards it, no? Minsan masasabi nating medyo totoo nga naman. They believe, no, kaya nga dito pumapasok yung kasabihan natin na kung saan tinatawag natin that the justice are only for the rich, and the laws that we have, no, yung mga batas natin ay para lamang sa protection ng mga mayayaman. So there is this noticeable, no, situation wherein there is an unfair how do you call this, treatment, no, to the different member of the social classes, no? Kaya minsan nagkakaroon tayo ng paniniwala that it's not really the wishes of the society that is being followed, no? In our previous discussion, sabi natin that the laws are created as a social contract, no? Kontrata natin yan, wherein we are to be protected, no, if we are going to obey the law. But in reality, no, uh, it seems that the such prohibitions or control on our behavior, on our actions, are mainly focused on protecting the welfare of those on the upper class. No? Ito yung sinasabi ko based on what the conflict theory, no, is stipulating. Kung ano yung sinasabi ng conflict theory, ano yung pananaw ng conflict theory, ito yung ating binabanggit. No? Kasi kung talagang titignan niyo kung saan papunta ang idea ng conflict theory, no? Ito ay papunta doon sa tinatawag nating unilateral government, type of government. Ibig sabihin, sabi kasi dito ini-stipulate nila that there is no solution for this problem, no? Ang conflict between society, the conflict between social classes, hindi yan mawawala kasi there is really this unfair distribution, unfair benefit. Like for example, na sa social institution natin for schools, no, who sino ang nabibigyan ng opportunity to study in prestigious universities, prestigious schools, no? Sino ang nabibigyan ng opportunity ng ganyan? Siyempre, yung mga may kaya at may impluwensya sa lipunan, sila yung nabibigyan sila yung binibigyan or nabibigyan ng pagkakataon na makapag-aral sa mga prestigyosong mga paaralan. While those who belong to the lower class, no, yung mga barely can afford to enroll in a certain institution, in a certain university, no, sila naman yung kumbaga is nadi-discriminate pa rin. No, there will be discrimination kasi what's the criteria that the society is imposing in terms of employment, no? Pagdating naman sa trabaho, sino ang tinitignan or ano yung criteria ang tinitignan nila? Siyempre, they will be prioritizing those individuals who graduated in a prestigious institution and so on. Habang yung mga iba na kung saan is nakapagtapos lang sa mga simple at ordinaryong mga paaralan, no, ay less priority kumbaga when it comes to the preference, no, para sa employment. So that we are looking at the unfair opportunity given, no, to the members of the society. Pagdating naman sa negosyo, no, let's say for example, you wanted to borrow money to the government in order for you to improve or innovate or upgrade your business. No, I'm talking about yung mga business, mga small businesses and compared to big businesses. No, if we are going to look into that, sino ba ang usually nabibigyan ng chance or pinapahiraman ng gobyerno, no, ng puhunan, ng pondo, no, para sa kanilang businesses, even that's private. Then, usually madali lang makakuha itong mga malalaking kumpanya ng loans sa government because they know that they have the capability to pay. So with that, na ito namang isang maliit na business owner na gustong humiram or magpatulong sa gobyerno in terms of economic fundings ay nare-reject. Now that's the reality. Mas mahirap mag-loan itong mga small business owner at mas maliit ang kanilang pwedeng i-loan compared dito sa mga big business owners. So there's a discrimination again there. No? Meron na naman tayong diskriminasyon pagdating sa mga ganyang bagay. Taxes, for example. Don't you know that compared to those small-time business owner, mas malaki ang tax na binabayaran nila in relation to their income, no, than those who are at the upper class. Yung mga malalaking business na yan, if we are going to look at the proportion between the income and the tax that they would be paying, talagang mas malaki ang binabayarang taxes ng mga small business owner, no, kumpara sa mga big business owners. So again, no, that's a good example of the discrimination between social classes. Kumbaga is napakaganda ng tinatamasa ng mga nandoon sa upper class compared doon sa mga nasa lower class. And with that, nagkakaroon tayo ng continuous revolt, no? Continuous revolt, especially when you will be awaken of such situation na nangyayari sa ating bansa, no, na nangyayari sa ating society, na hindi pala pantay despite how much they try to make believe, no, that there is equality in the society, no, but if we are going to assess it properly, talagang walang-wala, no, there is no equality, no, in the society in terms of the different opportunities being given to the social classes, no, mas napapaboran ang mga nasa upper class kaysa sa lower class. So as I've stated, these are all the ideas that are being stipulated under the conflict theory, no? Kung titignan kasi natin ito, no, nabanggit ko kanina, it will go the only solution proposed under this is to come up with a certain form of government that would be in charge, no, of distributing the different resources to the members of the society. So magkakaroon na tayo ng equal distribution if they will form a certain they will adhere to a certain form of government, no? So mababawasan na yung yung inequality kumbaga na nangyayari. And if you are aware of the point of such lecture, no, yung mga sinasabi ko, malalaman mo na ito ay papunta doon sa tinatawag nating communism, no? So the concept of communism is really came from these different ideas proposed by Karl Marx, as he was the one of the main proponent of this conflict theory, no? Yun yung kanilang solusyon na nakikita. Gusto nilang gawin is they will take charge of all the properties, no? Kung ikaw ay mayaman, kukunin or they will sila na ang mag-take over ng mga properties and properties mo, no? They will limit your belongings, no? And all of the income should go to the government, and the government will distribute the profits, distribute the resources to each and every citizens equally. So yan yung very concept niya. Actually maganda naman yan, but still that would not be good, especially if nasanay tayo in a democratic country, then bigla kang mag-turn into that, no? You will notice that there will be a lot of restriction as to the expression of your rights and freedom, no? Makakurtail din yan. So if I think there will be an argument with regards to that, if makabubuti nga ba yung ganung form of government than what we have right now. So there is a need for us to weigh the cost and the price. I mean the benefit and the cost, no? Ano nga ba yung magiging benefit? So it's okay to have equality, no, in terms of resources. But if we're going to look into the curtailment of the different freedom that we have also, then that would be a big problem too. No? Now, have you heard yung sinasabi nating the justice is only for the rich? No? The justice is only for the rich. Would that be true? Bakit kaya nila nasasabi that the government or the society is unfair in treating the different social classes? So there is inequality. No? Tignan muna natin pagdating sa mga batas natin, di ba? Usually nakikita naman natin, mulat naman tayo sa katotohanan na minsan is napaparusahan pa yung basta mahirap, no? Check na ikaw ay mapaparusahan kung ikaw ay nasampahan ng kaso at wala kang pera, alam mo na ang iyong kakahantungan, no? Samantalang yung mga mayayaman kahit andyan na, no? Andyan na yung ebidensya, kitang-kita na ng mga tao ang ebidensya, sila pa rin ay nakakalusot. That is one of the notion that they are claiming. Sabi nga nila, no, that the laws are created for the rich and to control the poor, no? So tignan muna natin kahit nga lang yung simpleng street crimes, for example, no, yung mga street crimes natin. Kapag ikaw nahuling nandukot, no, nandukot ka ng pitaka, nang snatch ka ng cellphone, no, nang hold up ka, if you will be arrested, you will be imprisoned immediately. I mean, talagang the justice system will be strict on you. No? Samantalang yung mga politicians natin, like senators, no, like mga mayors, governors, and so on, sila ang ninanakaw nila sa taong bayan, millions of pesos, no? Through their corrupt practices, through their illegal business practices, and so on. Hindi naman sila nakukulong. Or kung makulong pa sila, no, parang hotel pa yung kanilang kulungan. May TV, may aircon, may ref, no, minsan may video okay, ganun ba, no? Yung iba naman, kahit andyan na pagkadami-daming ebidensya, maha-house arrest pa siya, no? Instead na doon siya sa kulungan na kung saan dinadala yung mga ordinary criminals na nahuling ng dukot, no, ng snatch and so on. Hindi, no, nilalagay sila sa isang special facility which shows the unfair treatment that are being applied to the citizens, no? Iba ang trato nila sa mga mayayaman, which is, if we're going to define them, they are both criminals, no? In fact, mas malaki pa nga ang ninanakaw, no, ng mga nandoon sa upper class kumpara doon sa mga ninanakaw ni nandoon sa lower class. Si Mr. Pedro, for example, nang snatch lang ng 2,000, no, binugbog pa ng pulis, binugbog pa ng taong bayan, no? Pagkatapos dinala sa kulungan, doon siya makipagsiksikan sa mga iba pang presong nandun, samantalang si senator, no, na nagnakaw ng milyones sa kaban ng bayan, no, nilagay sa hotel or nilagay sa isang the aircon na kulungan, no, na kung saan yung kanyang mga pagkain, yung mga social pa rin na pagkain and so on, samantalang si Pedro na 2,000 lang yung kanyang ninakaw or dinukot, no, halos wala nang makain. So there is unfair treatment. Yun yung pinupunto kasi ng ating ng jury na ating dinidiscuss. They are pointing out that because of this unfair treatment, we will realize that really the justice system is pro-rich, no? Makamayaman, no, ang ating ang hustisya sa ating bansa. No, so we cannot deny for a fact that really that's what is happening in reality. Now, on your part, of course, as a police officer, ganun din. No? You will become a police officer someday. No? And I have noticed that there's a lot of unfair treatment kapag mahirap yung kriminal, no? Kulang na lang bitbitin na parang baboy. Pero kapag mayaman, akala mo nagiging bodyguard yung mga nang-aaresto ng taong yan kasi nga kilala. So, hindi man lang nila posasan, hindi man lang nila hawakan, and so on. Yung pakikitungo minsan maayos, pero pag sa ordinaryong kriminal, kulang na lang buntalan, sipain, and so on. So, we are pointing out that these issues in the society causes conflict. No? It really increases the frustration, no, coming from the lower class. It will it really cause it increase their hatred towards the upper class. And kapag mas tumataas ang kanilang galit, no, kapag tumataas ang kanilang galit sa upper class, then tumataas or yes, nag-i-increase yung tendency natin na magkaroon tayo ng revolt, no, magkaroon tayo ng war, magkaroon ng conflict, which will result into criminality. No? Kaya naman itong si mahirap, no, ang kanila namang tinatarget na pagnakawan, no, pagsamantalahan, no, saktan ay yung mga mayayaman din. Siyempre si mahirap, usually hindi naman yan nanakawan ng alam niyang mahirap din, no? Only irrational individual would do so. Kaya nga, have you heard about the story of Robin Hood, no? Robin Hood, anong ginagawa ni Robin Hood? Ninanakawan niya yung mayayaman para ipamigay yung pera doon sa mahihirap. So, if we are not going to provide a solution for this, pwedeng magkaroon ng ganitong pangyayari. No? And for you, as a member, no, future member of the law enforcer, the PNP organization, you should look into this. Kasi baka mamaya, No, sabi ko nga hindi na kayo or magkaroon na ng Robin Hood syndrome yung mga mamamayan, no? Instead na sa inyo sila makipagtulungan, hindi na. Doon na sila sa criminal makikipagtulungan. So, some criminals are taking advantage of that situation para talaga mas ma-strengthen yung kanilang protection, social protection against the enforcement of the law. No? So what can you do to avoid that? No, as a police officer, of course, you should always practice equality in the service. No? Dapat equal ka. No? Hindi porket mahirap yan is ganun yung trato mo, no? At iba naman yung trato mo kapag mayaman yung inaaresto mo. Dapat you show that you are impartial, no, in terms of that. Despite being unfair, no, ang society natin is clearly being unfair, no, discriminating the member of the lower class. You should at least do your best to change that perception so that the community will never or will not develop yung tinatawag nating Robin Hood syndrome. Okay? So, there are a lot of things that we can talk about under this theory, under this notion of the conflict theory. Marami tayong talagang makikitang social problem, no, which really causes the existence of crime, no? Kung titignan natin yung circumstances natin na kung saan is si Mr. Pedro, no, nakaranas ng pang-aabuso, nakaranas ng diskriminasyon, no? Hindi siya kumbaga is hindi siya nakapasok sa magandang paaralan kasi nga wala siyang pera, no? Tapos dahil hindi siya nakapag-aral, no? Hindi rin siya makahanap ng magandang trabaho kasi wala siyang pinag-aralan. And then, because of that, mas lalong malulubog pa sa kahirapan si Mr. Pedro dahil wala siyang opportunity to earn his own living. And if, in case, Mr. Pedro will be committing crime already, kasi isa pa yung pwede nating ipasok dito yung strange theory, ano? Kahit na hindi nakapag-aral si Mr. Pedro, no? Kahit na wala siyang makuhang magandang trabaho na malaking sweldo, hindi mo pa rin maaalis sa kanya yung aspirations in life na gusto niyang yumaman, gusto niyang magkabahay, gusto niyang magkaipon, no? And so on. So, with that, magkakaroon siya ng frustration which he will be thinking of doing something in order for him to still makuha pa rin yung mga gusto niya sa buhay, and dyan papasok minsan yung temptation to commit crime. Then, magkakaroon na tayo ng criminality as a result to that. As a result of the social inequality that he faced. But of course, we cannot say that Mr. Pedro is totally innocent for his crime. Kung halimbawa nagnakaw si Mr. Pedro dahil sa kahirapan, dahil wala na siyang makain and so on, it's okay to blame the society for such behavior, but still, Mr. Pedro is still punishable under our law. And it's still needed to be punished. Kasi mahirap naman na sabi nga sa atin sa criminology, crime does not pay. So kahit anong gawin mo, hindi ka makikinabang sa mga criminal activities na ginawa mo. Pwedeng may nakuha ka, but then later on, mababawi din lang yan at magsasuffer ka lang din through the different punishment that will be imposed by the law once that you will be arrested. So crime does not pay. Regardless of the intention, if it's for good, or for bad, then wala pa rin. Kasi baka sabihin nyo, ikaw na rin nagsabi, sir, na kasalanan din pala ng society kung bakit may mga nagnanakaw, bakit may mga pumapatay ng tao para sa pera and so on. Yes, that is true, but each and every one of us should be responsible for our own action. Kung meron tayong ginawa, dapat tayo ay maging responsable. So if there are consequences for our acts, then it is just right and just that he will be responsible for whatever the consequences that will result into his action. Okay? So, who is Karl Marx? Sino si Karl Marx? No, he is a German philosopher. No? He is a German philosopher. He is a political economist. No? He is somewhat considered also as a revolutionary. No? Isa siya sa tinitignan din na uh, proponents of the communist government. No? Because of his different contribution to the concept of conflict or social conflict. No? Marami actually ang lumabas ng mga theories with regards to this. Ano? Maraming mga theories ang naipanganak dahil sa ideas na ito ni Karl Marx on conflict or social conflict theory. No, meron tayong mga capitalism, no, meron tayong pagdating naman sa mga kababaihan and many more. Talagang marami na radical feminism or radical criminologies, yun yung mga iba. But of course, it's not because you are having those thoughts, no? Kasi meron tayong iba't ibang faction din under the criminology profession, ano? Meron nga yung mga classical believers, di ba? Yung mga classical criminologists, whichever you wanted to classify yourself, di ba? Na-discuss na natin yan ng last. Are you going to classify yourself as classical criminologist wherein you believe in the concept of free will, no? And you believe that everyone, no, are responsible for their action, and the only way to solve the existence of criminality is through the imposition of stricter and severe punishment to so that to deter, no, for us to deter the commission of criminality, na para takutin ang existence ng criminality. Usually, ang mga nagpapanukala ng death penalty, no, yan yung mga nandoon sa tinatawag nating classical school of thought on criminology because they really believe on the concept of deterrence. Ano? Kasi ang purpose ng death penalty is to deter, takutin yung mga nagbabalak na mag-commit ng crime para hindi na nila ituloy. So, are you pro or against death penalty? That will also describe your stand in the field of criminology. No? Also, you can be a positivist criminologist, na kung saan ang paniniwala mo is more focused on the different factors that you believe that crime are caused by different factors that come in place together to produce criminality, such as biological, social, and so on. While it's true that the concept of social conflict is still part of the positivists under sociological criminology, ano? Pero meron din silang kakaibang pananaw because they truly believe that under this theory, no, the main reason of the existence of criminality is really about or is really caused by the social conflict, no, unfair treatment or unfair opportunities and abuses coming from the upper class, no? So para sa akin, it's okay to have this Marxist concept in viewing criminality, no? And it's okay also to have a communist belief in relation to how you view criminality. Hindi naman bawal yan. If yan yung pananaw mo, then why not? No? However, what is wrong is if you are already committing a crime. No? So let's say, for example, you're taking arms already, no? Humahawak ka na ng barel para ipaglaban yung pananaw mo, then that is already considered as the violation of our laws. So that is, yun doon na tayo magkakaroon ng negative impact, no? As to what we believe. No? So it's okay to have that idea. No? It's okay to adhere into the belief and principles of the conflict theory. But what is not okay is if it already makes you a criminal. No? So kung gagawin ka na niyang criminal, then that is the time that you will be subjected to the different laws that we have. Okay? As I've stated from this main theory, nag-branch out na ito in different sub-theories. We have the realism, no? We have the radical feminism, we have the peacemaking criminology, and we have the postmodernism criminology. No? In other field, no, like for politics, marami rin yan. Marami ring nag-boom under this very theory of Karl Marx. No? So, what is conflict theory according to Karl Marx? He believes that conflict theory claims society in a state of perpetual conflict due to competition for limited resources. It's true, no? That we have conflict. It's because of the resources that we have, no? It holds the social order is maintained by domination and power rather than by consensus and conformity, no? We have laws, no? Ito'y taliwas doon sa ating sinasabing social contract. No, kasi doon sa social contract, sinasabi natin doon that laws are created, regulations are imposed because it is the common desire of the members of the society. Kumbaga, ito yung kagustuhan ng society eh. Na ito yung kagustuhan ng society na kung saan is nagkaisa tayo para i-impose or para gawin ang isang batas, nagkaisa tayo para gumawa ng mga patakaran para nang sa ganon ay tayo ay dapat susunod doon for our own protection as member of the society. However, lumalabas lang kasi ang problema, no, kapag both of the social classes are being subjected to such law, no? Doon na tayo nagkakaroon ng problema, doon na tayo nagkakaroon ng reklamo kasi bakit hindi pantay ang trato, no? Bakit hindi pantay ang trato kay Juan de la Cruz, no? At kay Pedro, no? Na kung si Juan de la Cruz ay isang anak ng kilalang tao, no? At si Pedro naman ay isang mahirap, no? Kapag sila ay nag-commit ng crime parehas, ay mas maganda ang treatment kay Mr. Juan de la Cruz kesa kay Pedro. So doon tayo nagkakaroon na ng conflict. At naniniwala na sila that the laws are created really as a result of power, no? As a result of domination, as a result of influence, no? Dahil itong mga taong ito may impluwensya, no? Kaya sila ang nagdidikta kung ano dapat ang ipagbawal, no? Sino dapat ang parusahan, anong pag-uugali dapat ang hindi ipagbawal, ang maipagbawal and so on, no? At ang kanilang kinokontrol is of course the member of the lower class. So they believe that hindi kumbaga consensus, no? Hindi desisyon ng nakararami ang nasusunod sa ating society, rather ito ay ang desisyon ng tinatawag nating mga taong maimpluwensya, no, mayayaman at makapangyarihan. So yun ang paniniwala ni Karl Marx, no, under the his theory on his conflict theory. So Marx focus on the different social class, no. Meron yung tinatawag nating social elite, no. Wait lang. Anyway, baka meron kayong tanong habang inaayos ko to. Wait lang. In relation to the different social classes, no? Meron si Karl Marx din na dalawang social classes, the working class and poor, and the social elite, no? The social elite, no, sabi niya sa kanyang salitang German, no, bourgeoisie, no? Bourgeoisie ang tawag niya sa mga social elite. Na ito yung mga minority. Okay, the minority because few of them lang yung mga talagang merong kakayahan or merong wealth na kumbaga is not ordinary, no? Sobrang yaman, no? Sobrang maimpluwensya, sila yung tinatawag niyang social elite or in their terms bourgeoisie, no? Also meron din yung tinatawag ng proletariat, no, or the working class and the poor. And ito na yung mga common employee, no? Ito yung mga walang trabaho or may trabaho, no? Na nagtatrabaho sa mga bourgeoisie o sa mga mayayaman at mga business owner. So he believes that there is a conflict only between these two social classes, or kung sa simple term, there's a conflict between the rich and the poor, no? That the conflict between the rich and the poor is unending, no? Hindi matatapos ang hindi matatapos ang conflict ng mayayaman sa mahihirap, no? Because they have different goals in life, no? Halimbawa sa isang company na lang, no? Kung si Mr. Pedro isang business owner, mayaman na business owner, ang kanyang gustong mangyari in relation to his business is kumita siya ng marami and less expenses. So he wanted to cut the cost, no? Pero gusto niyang malaking income. Gusto niyang mamuhunan ng maliit, pero gusto niya pa rin kumita ng malaki. And sometimes that manifested to their salaries, ano? Halimbawa is gusto niyang pasweldohan yung mga empleyado niya ng mababa, pero gusto niyang magtrabahong mabuti, no? Yung kanyang mga empleyado. Para lang sa ganun, no? Konti ang gasto, no? Konti ang gasto ni Mr. Pedro sa pagpapasweldo, pero malaki ang kanyang kita dahil maraming nagtatrabaho sa kanya. Hindi talaga sila magkakasundo ng mga nandun naman sa working class or the poor. Kasi ang gusto naman ng mga nasa working class o yung mga empleyado niya is kumita ng marami. Na? Kumita ng marami. So there's a conflict between the interests of the rich and the poor. That's why Marx believed that this will be, there is no solution for this unless there will be a common consensus na kung saan both the rich and poor will come into agreement. But that's nearly impossible, he believed. The only way for him, the only way he views for this to be solved is if someone, no, so powerful enough could impose a rule, no, could impose a certain rule that would make, no, the distribution of these resources, no, the distribution of these opportunities equal to one and all. No, therefore, coming up with the communist form of government. Yun yung gusto nilang palabasin under the conflict theory. Kasi under communist form of government, lahat ng ari-arian is gagawing pag-aari ng gobyerno, at yung mga citizens niya will be given, kumbaga, how do you call this? Will be given a piece of that amount, no? For them also to enjoy the benefit of whatever business they have, pero ang total control, no, in terms of the government, in terms of the businesses, in terms of prices and so on, is within the government. So lahat yan nire-regulate niya. So with that, naniniwala sila na pwedeng magkaroon ng equality if yung total control or the power will only be given, no, or will only focus on to the government. Kasi in reality ngayon, no, napansin lang din natin that in the current setup of our government right now, it's not really the naniniwala ba kayo that it's really the president who has a final say? Naniniwala ba kayo that the governor has is really the person who has the final say? No? Hindi, no? Halata naman that of course meron tayong tinatawag na interference coming from these individuals, coming from these rich individuals, yung mga business tycoons yan. They have influences towards the government. Ano? Let's say for example, a certain company will come into or will create a big business here in our country na magpatayo siya ng malaking negosyo. What do you think are the deals to that? Ano sa tingin mo ang deals doon? Na ano ang kapalit ng pagpasok nila or pag-i-invest nila dito sa bansa natin? Something like, syempre, the right to intervene or to propose a certain thing also, no? Yun yung mga pwede nilang hingiin sa gobyerno. So for example, I'm a rich business owner. Sabi ko, okay, mayor, magpapatayo ako diyan ng SM sa lugar mo, no? Magbibigay yan ng malaking income sa iyo kasi monthly or yearly, annually or quarterly magbabayad kami ng buwis diyan at madadagdagan ang income mo, no? Na madadagdagan ang income ng municipality mo na pwede mong gamitin sa proyekto or pwede mong gamitin sa pansarili mo, na parang ganun. So with that, ang gusto naman namin is maging lenient ka pagdating sa pagbabayad ng tax namin. Baka pwedeng bawasan mo ang tax namin, baka pwedeng paalisin mo yung mga taong nakatira dito kasi ayaw nilang ibenta yung kanilang mga lupa, baka pwedeng babaan mo yung pasweldo dito sa lugar ninyo, yung required na pasweldo, or baka pwedeng wag ka nang makialam pagdating sa mga usapang sweldo, no? Kung may magreklamo man sa'yo. Mga ganun ba? So they have this power to interfere because they are also in a position to demand such thing. No? Especially if we're looking at the monetary gain. No? So sa lahat ng pumasok na mga business companies, mga foreigner, no, foreign investors sa ating bansa, you expect that they have demanded something from the government also. So yun yung kumbaga is one of their concept is that it's not really the elected officers, hindi, the elected officials are not really the one who is controlling the government, rather those capitalists, na yung mga capitalists, mga business owners na naglagay sa kanila sa pwesto na kinalalagyan nila, na yan kaya minsan madalas mas nasisira ang ating politika. Why? Because of the intervention of this capitalist. Sila ang halimbawa pinondohan niya ang kampanya mo, no? Pag ikaw ay naupo, no? Naupo na sa pwesto, anong kapalit niyan? So pwedeng intervention with regards to decision making, no? Pwedeng leniency on how you deal with them. So pag may mga kaso sila, no, hindi na inaasikaso ng gobyerno kasi nga kumbaga may utang na loob sila diyan or meron silang for the sake of financial consideration. And so yung mga ganong mga cases, yun yung pinopoint out nila under the social conflict. That's why under the idea of capitalism, they wanted to remove the intervention of these business owners, no, and give the total control, no, over the government. So gusto nila dapat ang mga business owner, yung mga mayayamang tao na to, ay sumunod sa gobyerno at hindi dapat itong mayayamang tao na to ang mag-utos or magpasunod sa gobyerno. Okay? Now, we have also here in understanding the conflict theory, competition between the social classes plays a key part. No? We stated that the existence of conflict between social classes will round into circle. No? Paulit-ulit lang yan, paikot-ikot lang yan. Why? Because there are key part that are will exist, no matter what, that will keep on existing within the society. And these are the following, yung mga key part natin kung bakit hindi maaalis or hindi mawawala ang conflict between social classes. Number one is competition. There is an ongoing competition between social classes in terms of resources. Pag sinabi natin resources, ayan, of course, the manpower, no, economic, yung mga pera, no, and even other resources like basta yung mga pwedeng gamitin nila, no, even the benefit of education, in terms of health system and many more. So those are all the resources that we have that can be considered as finite, no? Pwedeng mawala or pwedeng maubos. Ito yung palaging pinag-aagawan ng mga social classes. Unfortunately, talong-talo dito ang mga nasa ibaba, no? Talong-talo sila sa pagdating sa mga resources na ito, no? Mas maraming nakukuha ng mga resources ang mga mayayaman compared sa mga mahihirap. But for example, pagdating sa food, okay? Pag-usapan natin yung pagdating sa food. So, food can be considered as resources. No? Example lang natin para makuha natin yung punto. Halimbawa is merong mayaman at merong mahirap na pamilya sa isang lugar. So itong mayaman na to, binili niya na lahat ng pagkain doon sa lugar na yan kasi nga gusto niyang mag-imbak ng maraming pagkain. It happens na wala nang natira para bilhin ng pamilyang mahirap. So what will happen there? Because of that competition, paano na yung mahihirap na pamilya na hindi nakabili ng pagkain or wala nang mabili na pagkain? What will happen to them? Of course, they will do anything also to secure these resources. Gagawin nila ang kanilang kayang gawin para nang sa ganun makakuha sila ng resources because it's essential. Ang mga resources na pinag-uusapan natin are all essential resources into the existence of us. Para tayo ay mag-survive, para tayo ay mabuhay continuously, kailangan din nating makuha ito. And that's food. Okay? Now, anong gagawin niya? Alangan namang hintayin niya na lang na mamatay sila sa gutom or so. He will do anything at his own to secure also these resources. And that could bring us to the case na kung saan is magdanakaw na, papatay na para lang makakuha din siya ng mga resources na yan. So that there is a competition, there is an ongoing competition really that is happening in our society that we might have noticed already, but this really affects our views or on the existence of criminality. Kaya merong nagko-commit ng crime minsan dahil sa sobrang kahirapan. And we cannot deny the fact that bakit nga ba naman ganon? Kung sino ang mahirap, sila ang humihirap, at kung sino ang mayaman, sila ang yumayaman. Because the opportunity for the rich and poor is not equal. In terms of the different rewards that they could get, into the society. Yan. So we have also structural inequality, as we have stated kanina. With regards to opportunity, hindi kasi pantay. So, structural inequality, like for example, yung mga social institution natin, eskwelahan, hospitals, simbahan, and other government facilities. Sino ang mas nakikinabang halos dyan? Sino ang mas malaki ang pakinabang sa mga social institution natin na ito? Of course, yung mga mayayaman. Like, yung example natin sa paaralan. Sino ang nakaka-afford mag-aral sa mga malalaking universidad, mayayamang universidad? Yung mayayaman. Sino ang nakakapasok sa matataas na posisyon? Siyempre, yung mga nakapag-aral sa matataas na universidad o sa kilalang universidad. And with that, sino ang mas madaling yumaman? Siyempre, yung mga nandoon sa mga trabaho na kung saan is mataas ang sweldo, mataas ang pwesto, at malaki ang authority, kumbaga. So, you see the dilemma? Nakikita niyo yung dilemma nito? Dahil wala kang kakayahan or wala kang pera, wala kang kakayahang mag-aral sa magandang university or kahit nga lang wala kang kakayahang magtapos ng pag-aaral, your opportunities also is declining. Habang wala kang nagagawa, habang wala kang napapatunayan in terms of education and so on, bumababa din yung opportunities na pwede mong makuha, and also yung chance mo to succeed in life, to get hold of these different resources, nawawala rin, bumababa din. Then, that would result into revolution. As stipulated under the conflict theory, there is no way that the social class, yung mahirap at mayaman, will come into agreement kasi they have different interests. Magkaiba ang kanilang gustong mangyari. And with that, instead na they will unite, instead na mag-unify sila, ang mangyayari is there will be revolution. So revolution instead of evolution. Mas gugustuhin nilang magpatayin, magsiraan, gumamit ng dahas para ma-impose yung kanilang gustong i-impose kesa mag-unify kasi hindi talaga magkakasundo yan. Kumbaga, we can say that tubig at langis ang sitwasyon ng mahirap at mayaman. No? Okay, so we have also war. War it's a good unifier. No? It's a good unifier, but it could be a good destroyer also of the society. If in case there will be a war, no, the social classes will unify. For example, the middle class, kasi sila ay nasa gitna. With the current war between the upper class and the lower class, sa tingin mo saan sumama? No? Saan kumampi yung mga middle class? Siyempre, doon sila sa mga nasa upper class kasi they are aiming to become a part of that elite social class, di ba? Gusto rin nilang mapunta doon, kaya doon sila kakampi. So ngayon, it will be 2 versus 1, no? The middle class and the upper class against the lower class. So that's why usually makikita natin yung mga serious crime o yung mga cases of mga attack on person, no, yung mga tinatawag nating crimes against person like pambubugbog, pagpatay, no, and other similar acts are being committed by those who belongs to the lower class. Although it's true that yung mga nako-commit ng mga nandun sa lower class are not only limited to persons against crimes against person, no, hindi lang limited yan sa pagpatay, no, but then they are also targeting yung mga property crimes, no, property crimes. But if we're going to look, no, doon naman sa mga criminality na nangyayari doon sa mga miyembro ng upper class, no, meron din at malaki in large scale kumbaga yung kanilang ginagawa. For example, sa tingin mo walang killing na nangyayari for those member of the upper class? Meron. But they are not the one, no? Hindi sila mismo ang gumagawa ng krimen. Rather, they are making use of their influence, they're making use of their resources, of their money to do the act, no? So instead na sila mismo ang papatay, no, mag-hire sila ng ibang tao para ipapatay yung isang tao, no? At kung sila ay ma-involvement into property crimes, hindi lang pipitsuging pagnanakaw, pang-hold up, but rather large scale in nature. So that is also in relation to blue-collar crime and the white-collar crime that we discussed in on your introduction to criminology. You know? So we can relate those different types of crime being committed by the different member of the lower class and the different member of the social classes. Okay? So, as I've stated, war could either unify a certain social class against another, no? Or it could unify the entire social class, no? The entire social classes, no? If it is strong enough, no? Like if there is a war that the country is involved, no? Kung may batas ay may gera na kung saan ang buong Pilipinas is involved, the tendency is mag-unify ang different social classes into one common goal. But that is only for usually for a short term, na? For a short term. Later on, babalik na naman sa dati. Kasi sabi ko nga, tubig at langis yan, hindi mo pwedeng pagsamahin, na? They are motivated, or the different members of the social class are motivated by different interests that is usually conflicting with each other, kaya hindi talaga sila pwedeng magsama. Okay? So those are the key parts under the conflict theory proposed by, or discussed by Karl Marx. Okay? So that's the end of the lecture that I had prepared to you. If you have any question, you may ask them now. Meron bang tanong? Class President.
Hello, sir.
Yes po. Teka lang, mahina signal ko. Paulit?
Wala, sir.
Wala na? Wala na, Miss President?
Hello, sir. Pero daw yung soft-cut module, sir, pati din sa policy.
Yes. I-upload ko lang to. Hindi, yung policing kasi, di ba wala pa ba akong in-upload sa policing?
Merong naka-upload dun sa Facebook group, sir, kaya lang hindi ko alam mo yun, sir. Pang kanti lang naman nung pan, sir.
Kwan kasi, bali, oo,
sir.
ina-update ko na lang siya doon sa, kwan, sa Google Drive. So, nag-edit ako, i-update ko siya, isa-save ko ulit. So, I think the same link. Pero, kung, ang alam ko doon, pwedeng i-redownload siya. Kasi may update ako nilagay doon. So, may dagdag na yun. Well, in case hindi ganun yung nangyayari, i-send ko na lang ulit yung link para doon sa updated nating module. Pati dito, isa-send ko na lang.
Sige, sir.
Okay. Okay, so if there are no more questions, then guys, thank you very much for listening and attending our class. I hope you learned something from this lecture. See you next meeting. Bye-bye.
Bye, sir. Bye, sir. Bye, sir.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you.